There were not many casualties on the heavenly Tao side, but all living beings were still very excited, because they finally saw how powerful the divine might heavenly sage was. All the cultivators in Chaotic City, Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals, and pseudo-sages saw Hanju's attack. The cultivators who went to the chaotic heavenly road later could also see the spatial crack left behind by the battlefield and the long spatial cave that was even wider than the chaotic heavenly road. It was shocking. Oh my god, what cultivation level is this to cause such terrifying destruction? The Great Tao Divine Spirit is nothing much. Too fast. Is this the Divine Might Heavenly Sage? I'm still packing my bags. The Heavenly Tao is mighty. The ancient people didn't lie to me. The Divine Might Heavenly Sage is indeed powerful. The legends are all true. Where's the hatred race? They're all dead? This was a huge battle. If the Heavenly Tao lost, they would probably die. This battle was mentioned many times when the sages preached the Tao in the future. They warned their descendants never to indulge in the current peace. Hanju didn't care about the opinions of all living beings. To be honest, he was not excited. The divine robe Taoist and the foolish sword sage could not be insta-killed. Hanju was still filled with danger. He had to hurry up and cultivate. He had to insta-kill the enemy if he attacked in the future. Just as the foolish sword sage had said, after this battle, no mighty figure would dare to invade the heavenly Tao again. 1,000 years later, the heavenly Tao was successfully repaired. The 33rd heaven returned to its former peace. The sages were stimulated and began to focus on cultivating. After witnessing Hanju's strength, they all felt tiny, including Great Sage Void Soul. Hanju moved Great Sage Void Soul into the 100 Peak Immortal River. After the heavenly Tao recovered, he was expelled by it and was quite depressed. Fortunately, Hanju took the time to move him in. Just like that, peace returned. 5,000 years later, Hanju was cultivating when a notification suddenly appeared in front of him. The evil heavenly emperor sent you a dream. Do you accept? Hanju's heart trembled. Did something happen again? He was traumatized, but the other party was the evil heavenly emperor, so he could not refuse. He immediately accepted the dream. The dream was still the forest outside the Jade Pure Sacred Sect. Seeing Hanju, the evil heavenly emperor clicked his tongue in wonder. You're really powerful. You can even kill the divine robe Taoist. It's said that that battle even involved the leader of the hatred race, hatred concubine, and the foolish sword sage. You became famous after that battle. Now, the name of the divine might heavenly sage is spreading in the chaos. Hanju frowned and asked, am I very famous? The evil heavenly emperor smiled. It's neither big nor small. After all, the chaos is vast and boundless. There are always places where they can't hear your reputation. Hanju looked worried. He didn't pretend to be calm in front of the evil heavenly emperor. Hanju was speechless. In that case, he had to thank life? The evil heavenly emperor said seriously, I sent you a dream this time to tell you something. I know an ancient existence. Not long ago, I visited him and asked him to predict the great Tao immeasurable calamity. Hanju raised his eyebrows. An ancient existence who could predict the great Tao calamity? Could it be a Tao creator? After talking to the foolish sword sage, Hanju discovered that the living beings of the chaos didn't believe in the existence of the chaotic deities at all. Even the once Great Tao Supreme foolish sword sage thought that the Great Tao Supreme realm was already the strongest. He deduced that the sign of the Great Tao immeasurable calamity is the primordial fiend celestial. This primordial fiend celestial's potential is unparalleled since ancient times. It's unimaginable. He can sweep through people of the same realm and even cross realms to kill enemies. To him, cultivation realms are nothing. The evil heavenly emperor recalled the words of that ancient existence and felt a chill in his heart. Hanju had a strange expression. Crap. Could the battle of the heavenly Tao not have made people think that he was the primordial fiend celestial? The evil heavenly emperor also thought of this. His expression also became strange. Are you the primordial fiend celestial? Hanju denied it firmly. How is that possible? I was born as a mortal. You can deduce it. My parents are both mortals. How can they give birth to a primordial fiend celestial? Aren't chaotic fiend celestials fatherless, let alone primordial fiend celestials? The evil heavenly emperor smiled. That's true. Don't be nervous. I know something about the primordial fiend celestial and know that you're not it. What do you know? The primordial fiend celestial has yet to be born. What's there to be afraid of? He can overturn the chaos when he's born? We can just kill him in the cradle. Hanju didn't care, but he was very nervous. Isn't that my son? I knew it. The one who causes the great Tao immeasurable calamity is my son. Hanju had a bold thought. If his son was never born, wouldn't the great Tao immeasurable calamity never arrive? No wonder it took 10 billion years. Hanju couldn't surpass the primordial fiend celestial and couldn't bear to let his son give up his talent. He could only let him stay in his mother's womb. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. Of course. I guess the other mighty figures will also know about this. The chaos will stir up a trend of finding the primordial fiend celestial. The prodigies in the future will be miserable. He said it casually, but Hanju heard a hint of pity. Countless geniuses would die because of a prophecy. Hanju didn't feel guilty. He was not someone who valued all living beings more than his family. Furthermore, even without his son, as a primordial fiend celestial, he would have to face all the hostility of the chaos sooner or later. Before that, he wanted to secretly cultivate until the entire chaos could not do anything to him. The two of them continued chatting. An hour later, the dream ended. Hanju observed the heavenly Tao. After confirming that there was no danger, he checked his interpersonal relationships. The friends he cared about were still there. He continued cultivating. Time passed. Year after year passed. Thousands of years later. 3 lines of words appeared in front of Hanju, who was cultivating. Detected that you are 500,000 years old and your life has taken another step forward. You have the following choices. 1. Come out immediately and spread the name of the primordial fiend celestial, stirring up the great Tao immeasurable calamity. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, a heavenly Tao spirit stone, a supreme treasure, a mystical power inheritance, and a new function of the system. 2. Cultivate in a low-profile manner and stay away from trouble. You can obtain a great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, a heavenly Tao spirit stone, and a supreme treasure. Hanju felt that the system was broken. There had been such a choice in the past, but this time, it was too exaggerated. Hanju directly chose the second option. You choose to cultivate in a low-profile manner and stay away from trouble. You obtained a great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, a heavenly Tao spirit stone, and a supreme treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the chaotic supreme treasure Grand Primordium Divine Crown. Grand Primordium Divine Crown, defensive chaotic supreme treasure. It is formed from the head of a Grand Primordium deity when he died. It contains the strongest defense and can resist great Tao level attacks. Great! Another defensive supreme treasure. Hanju immediately took out the Grand Primordium Divine Crown and started to make it recognize him as its owner. The Grand Primordium Divine Crown was purple. There were 2 statues on the crown. They were symmetrical on both sides like horns. They were both domineering and had sinister expressions as if the scene before the battle had frozen. After 80 years, Hanju finally refined it into his own Dharma treasure. After wearing this crown, Hanju looked even more handsome and dignified, like the king of the gods from ancient legends. It was terrifying. Hanju was in a good mood and began to think about which fiend celestial to use the creation spirit stone on. Forget it! Hanju began to fuse. He continued cultivating after the fusion process stabilized. As for what to use the heavenly Tao spirit stone on, he still had to consider it. It had been a long time since he had cursed someone. If he used the heavenly Tao spirit stone on the heaven opening axe, how far could it go from a chaotic supreme treasure? What kind of power would it have if the primordial divine rage was used together with the heaven opening axe that surpassed the chaotic supreme treasure level? The battle with the foolish sword sage made Hanju a little dissatisfied with his strength. As for the cursed power, it was very difficult to curse an existence stronger than him to death. Time passed. The cultivators who went to the chaos also spread the name of the divine might heavenly sage everywhere. In addition, the death of the great Tao divine spirit was true. The divine might heavenly sage's reputation became greater and greater, making the heavenly Tao cultivators feel proud. The providence of the heavenly Tao sword. In the blink of an eye, 50,000 years passed. Hanju was getting closer and closer to breaking through. He finally saw the opportunity to break through and was extremely touched. Heaven did not let down those who worked hard. He opened his eyes. More than 1,000 years ago, Heavenly Venerate Xian Du had sent him a voice transmission, asking for him to go to the Universal Hall after his seclusion ended. Hanju first came to the second Tao field and released the 9 Yin Fiend Celestial to let Moronchu receive him. Hanju chatted with Li Yao for a while before returning to the main Tao field and jumping into the Universal Hall. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du opened his eyes and immediately sent a voice transmission to the other sages when he saw him. The South Extreme Heavenly Venerate, Sect Master Tianju, Emperor Shao, Heavenly Venerate Wufa, Chou Shilai, Fang Liang, Huang Zuntian, Jin Shen, Pan Xin, Su Dudao, Su Qi, and Li Taigu arrived one after another. Hanju nodded slightly and didn't say anything. In any case, the leader was Heavenly Venerate Xian Du. He had never managed the Heavenly Tao. Not in the past and not in the future. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du was a very qualified sage. Heavenly Venerate Xian Du said, "Not long ago, Shi Dudao and Li Daogong's Heavenly Tao Providence was severed. 2 sage positions became vacant. In addition to the recent strengthening of the Heavenly Tao, another sage position opened. There are a total of 3. Do you have any candidates?" The sages looked at Hanju. After all, it involved Li Daokong. Hanju said, "You can decide for yourselves. As for Li Daokong, don't worry about him. I know what to do." Hearing this, the sages felt relieved and began to discuss. Hanju felt bored and started to check his emails. Your good friend Evil Heavenly Emperor was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your disciple Zhou Fan was attacked by demons, X78900002. Your son Han Tuo was attacked by demons, X89022143. Your disciple Dao Sovereign has entered a mysterious space-time dimension. Your disciple Zhao Xianyuan has entered a mysterious space-time dimension. Your good friend Jiang Yi has entered a mysterious space-time dimension. Your good friend Heavenly Lord of Primordial Beginning was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your good friend Huang Zuntian split heaven and earth and created the chaotic world. His providence has increased greatly. It was as exciting as ever. Hanju was curious. Are all the mysterious mighty figures stronger than me? He was already a great Tao sage. Very few people could be considered mighty figures in front of him. After reaching the Freedom Realm and having no karma with you, they are all considered mysterious mighty figures. I see. Hanju was relieved. He thought that there were as many great Tao sages as dogs. He continued reading the emails. Huang Zuantian established a chaotic world? He couldn't help but glance at him. This fellow had made a huge move. He had not even severed with the providence of the heavenly Tao. Sensing his gaze, Huang Zuantian couldn't help but straighten his back and salute him with his eyes. He would talk to him later. Hanju thought silently. Huang Zuantian's master, Sect Master Tianju, had already submitted to Hanju. There was no need to beat around the bush. The emails after that were also exciting. After all, after tens of thousands of years, almost all his friends had made a move. An hour later, the sage position was finalized. Heavenly Venerate Shendu said, "Recently, a mighty figure from the chaos has held a banquet and invited the masters of the world to befriend him and discuss how to face the future great Tao immeasurable calamity. What do you think?" Heavenly Venerate Wufa glanced at him and snorted. "What do you mean? Is a freedom sage weak?" Qiu Shilai knew that he had said something wrong and had no choice but to shut up. The other sages expressed their opinions. They had to vote to decide. Hanju didn't participate. In the end, Pan Xin, Sect Master Tianju, and Fang Liang voted in favor to go. Pan Xin was a freedom sage and represented the deterrence of the heavenly Tao. Sect Master Tianju would lead the negotiations and Fang Liang was in charge of plotting. The sages left after the discussion ended. Hanju said, "Fellow Taoist Huang, can you invite me to your Tao field for a chat?" Huang Zuantian immediately agreed. The other sages pretended not to hear that. Recently, Huang Zuantian had indeed been a little mysterious. He often went to the chaos. It was a good thing for Hanju to teach him a lesson. Heavenly Venerate Shendu secretly sighed. Fortunately, there was Hanju. He was also worried that Huang Zuantian would betray the heavenly Tao. Hanju sat at the main seat, while Huang Zuantian, the master of the Tao field, sat as a guest. Without waiting for Hanju to ask, Huang Zuantian said, "I created a world in the chaos more than 20,000 years ago." He spoke endlessly and was very excited as if he was showing off his achievements in front of his elders. Hanju listened carefully and did not interrupt. Huang Zuantian began to talk about his reason for creating a world. It was naturally because of primordial origin. Hanju already knew about primordial origin. This was a secret between the two. With the primordial origin's help, even if he established the chaotic world, Huang Zuantian did not sever the providence of the heavenly Tao. Primordial origin said that this was a way out for him. All these years, Huang Zuantian's cultivation level had been increasing. He was already very close to breaking through to the primordial chaos zenith heaven golden immortal realm. He suddenly understood why Huang Zuantian could reach his current height. As long as Huang Zuantian's favorability didn't decrease, he was still willing to believe him. Hanju instructed, "Be careful. Think about how you got to where you are today. Never be careless. Maintain a good relationship with the heavenly Tao sages. The current heavenly Tao is already united. As for who has this robe, you should know very well. If you need help, you can also ask the sages. Don't isolate yourself. That will only cause unnecessary trouble for you." Huang Zuantian nodded. "Thank you for your reminder, Master. I will remember it." He had seen through it before, but Hanju didn't admit it personally, so he couldn't trust the other sages. Now that Hanju said so, how could he not be relieved? The two of them chatted for a while more, mostly about Huang Zuantian's experiences in the chaos. Hanju listened to the story with relish. Huang Zuantian heaved a sigh of relief after he left. Although he was very loyal to Hanju, the pressure he gave him was too strong. A voice sounded in Huang Zuantian's mind, "This person is not simple. If he wants to attack me, he will definitely have a way to extract me from your body. Huang Zuntian said proudly, of course. Otherwise, why would I follow him? Ever since he knew Hanju, he had never seen him lose or even be in a sorry state. After returning to the Taoist temple, Hanju continued cultivating. He only had one goal now, and that was to break through as soon as possible. Once he closed his eyes, it meant that another era had passed. Ever since the divine robe Taoist was defeated, no expert dared to attack the heavenly Tao again. New worlds also constantly appeared in the dark forbidden zone near the heavenly Tao. They were all created by the heavenly Tao cultivators. Some Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals with poor potential discovered that creating a world could allow them to advance to the pseudo-sage realm, causing more and more Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals to head to the dark forbidden zone. Year after year passed. Soon, Hanju was 600,000 years old. Detected that you are 600,000 years old. You have the following choices. 1. Exit seclusion immediately and spread the name of the primordial fiend Celestial, stirring up the Great Tao immeasurable calamity. You can obtain a Great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a heavenly Tao spirit stone. 2. Cultivate in a low-profile manner and stay away from trouble. You can obtain a Great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a supreme treasure. Hanju opened his eyes and discovered that the reward had decreased. Perhaps 500,000 years meant more. Hanju silently chose the second option. You chose to cultivate in a low-profile manner and stay away from trouble. You obtained a Great Tao fragment, a creation spirit stone, and a supreme treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the chaotic supreme treasure Chaotic Diamond Bracelet. Chaotic Diamond Bracelet, defensive chaotic supreme treasure. It is the supreme treasure born at the beginning of the chaos. It contains the strongest defensive light and can block Great Tao attacks. Another defensive supreme treasure. Hanju almost fainted. Back when he was still growing, the system loved to give him defensive Dharma treasures. In addition to the chaotic diamond bracelet, he had a total of 3 chaotic defensive supreme treasures. Who could break through his defense? Hanju immediately took out the chaotic diamond bracelet and started to make it recognize him as its owner. After 100 years, he finally refined it into this Dharma treasure. The chaotic diamond bracelet was golden. It was originally a golden ring, but after wearing it, it transformed into 2 wisps of golden flames that wrapped around his wrists. It looked very beautiful. Hanju looked up at the divine robe Taoist, who was still in the primordial heavenly prison. It had been almost 120,000 years, but this fellow had yet to be enslaved. Hanju had to renew the seal every 10,000 years to prevent him from awakening. This time, he chose the wind-shaking fiend Celestial. After the fusion process stabilized, he would divert his attention. He was already very close to breaking through to the mid-stage Great Tao Primordial Chaos realm, so he was not in a hurry. He wanted to see the development of the Heavenly Tao first. During this period of time, 3 new sages appeared in the Heavenly Tao. They were Primordial Chaos Buddha, Zhangguxing, and Long Hao. Zhangguxing was chosen by Heavenly Venerate Wufa. There was an 80% chance that this was in consideration of Hanju. He had very little karma in the Heavenly Tao, and Zhangguxing was one of the few. Apart from him, there were a total of 16 Heavenly Tao sages in the current immortal world. They far exceeded any previous era. The new sages almost did not rely on the primordial purple chi. Reality proved that the primordial purple chi was only an excuse. In the past, there had been no new sages. It was mainly because the Heavenly Tao was too weak and could not carry more sages. The birth of every new sage excited the cultivators of the immortal world. Hanju took in the various forms of living beings. The situation of the heavenly Tao was still considered peaceful. Although the hidden sect was not outstanding, its development was at least stable. He did not need the hidden sect to unite the heavenly Tao. That wouldn't be good. He needed to give the other factions some hope. Only then could they continue to climb. Hanju's situation had never been to control the heavenly Tao. In the past, the heavenly Tao was only a shield. Now, he only hoped that the heavenly Tao could protect his disciples. After observing the heavenly Tao, Hanju started to check his emails. He wondered if something interesting had happened in his circle of friends recently. Email after email appeared in front of Hanju and refreshed at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, he read millions of emails. An email attracted Hanju's attention. Your enemy Pango has successfully reincarnated. Pango! Does this fellow want to cause trouble? Hanju narrowed his eyes and fell into deep thought. Pango's hatred for him was not high. He could only say that he was dissatisfied and not an enemy. However, Pango's history was too valiant. The entire chaos treated him as a nightmare and was afraid that he would revive. Unexpectedly, he did not revive but chose the path of reincarnation. How did he reincarnate? After all, the heavenly Tao was created by Pango. If he returned, how could the heavenly Tao stop him? 100 trillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Although his value was ridiculous, he had to continue. Hanju entered the illusion. He opened his eyes and discovered that he was standing in the starry sky. Below him was a desolate planet without flowers and plants. Looking up, countless such planets were floating in the entire starry sky. No signs of living beings could be seen. Hanju looked over and didn't see Pango on the desolate planet. At this moment, a beam of light descended from above at an extremely fast speed. It directly collided with the barren planet, causing the entire planet to tremble violently. It stirred up circles of dust that were tens of thousands of feet tall. After the dust dissipated, Hanju saw a huge egg. The eggshell was transparent and emitted a red light. There were many veins on the surface, and he could vaguely see a figure curled up inside. Was that Pango? But what was this place? Hanju frowned. A line of words appeared in front of him. Taoist deep region, chaotic desolate domain. There are no great Tao rules, no karma, no past or future. Hanju frowned even more. Although he knew the name of this place, he still didn't know where it was. The illusion shattered. Hanju returned to reality. He checked Pango's profile picture. Pango, cultivation unknown. Chaotic fiend celestial, creator of the heavenly Tao, ancestor of all things, fiend celestial slayer. Because you severed the will control he left in Pan-Xin, he has developed displeasure towards you. Current hatred points, new star. Why was his cultivation still unknown? Didn't he reincarnate? Could it be that it was not really a reincarnation, but a Dharma idol? Hanju asked in his mind, how long will it take for Pango to kill me after he reincarnates? 100 trillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. Unless you stop cultivating or his main body revives, he will never be able to kill you. Unless the main body revives. I knew it. Hanju's brows relaxed. No matter what, Pango's reincarnation could not threaten him. Hanju stopped thinking about it and continued reading the emails. Time passed quickly. Another 30,000 years passed. Divine Robe Taoist has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, max. Hanju opened his eyes and frowned. The Divine Robe Taoist in the primordial heavenly prison was still in a soul state. Hanju removed the seal and his body began to recover. Hanju checked his profile picture. Divine Robe Taoist, Perfected Great Tao Primordial Chaos Realm, Great Tao Divine Spirit. Current favorability, max. It was a simple introduction, but it was enough. He was clearly only a minor realm higher than Great Sage Void Soul. The enslavement time had increased by 10 times. Divine Robe Taoist knelt down respectfully after he recovered. Hanju asked in his mind, will I expose the existence of the primordial heavenly prison if I let the Divine Robe Taoist back and make him not reveal his experience of being enslaved? It was better to let the Divine Robe Taoist stay here and continue being a great Tao divine spirit. It could protect the chaotic domain where the heavenly Tao was. From the upper echelons to the bottom, they were all Hanju's people. 200 billion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. No! Hanju immediately smiled upon seeing this word. He began to chat with the Divine Robe Taoist. Several hours later, the Divine Robe Taoist was sent out of the heavenly Tao and flew into the darkness. Hanju had already told him everything he needed to know. In the future, the Divine Robe Taoist would be an important pawn of his. Then, Hanju came to the second Tao field and released wind-shaking Fiend Celestial to let Moronchi receive him. As the combat Fiend Celestial, Moronchi was not weak either. He was often evenly matched even when he fought the heavenly constellation Fiend Celestial in the simulation trial. Hanju chatted with Liao for a while before arriving at Yangdu's cave abode. In the long years, Yangdu was almost depressed. As more and more Fiend Celestials appeared, his potential was extremely blinding here. Even he felt that he was not worthy. Although Hanju could help him change his bloodline, he couldn't even see a trace of hope at the basic pseudo-sage threshold. Yangdu opened his eyes and hurriedly knelt down when he saw that it was Hanju. He was excited and knew what he had to face next. Hanju said, I've indeed made you suffer all these years. I understand the burden in your mind, but I just want you to remember this burden. No matter what is your potential, you can never lose your reverence and determination to cultivate diligently. Do you understand? Hanju didn't say anything else. He directly dispersed his body and placed his soul into the primordial world. He then teleported into the main Tao field. Yangdu was already a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, but it was very difficult for his cultivation level to increase. He couldn't even see hope in the mid-stage. This was the upper limit of his potential. After all, Hanju didn't preach the Tao as often in the second Tao field. Hanju sat on the 36th grade reincarnation world destruction Black Lotus and fused the Fiend Celestial Chi of Yangdu and the Duga Fiend Celestial. The reason was that their names were similar. Hanju multitasked. As he used his dermic powers to help Yangdu fuse with the Fiend Celestial Chi, he began to preach the Tao in the main Tao field. The sudden lecture made all the disciples in the 100 Peak Immortal River unable to react in time as they were pulled into the Great Tao of extreme origin. Chaos, Great Tao Tower. Dressed in white, Hanyu came to the hall with his grand disciple Qingling and met the tower master, Zhou Fan. The current Zhou Fan wore a python-patterned black robe and was extremely domineering. He was no longer the hot-blooded youth from before. Zhou Fan opened his eyes, and they lit up when he saw Hanyu. Too similar. He was even more like Hanju than Han Tuo, his own son. He even instinctively wanted to kneel down. Fortunately, he restrained himself in time and no one noticed. Hanyu cupped his hands and bowed. Life? Hanyu frowned. He had been in the chaos for hundreds of thousands of years and had naturally heard of the legend of life. He subconsciously wanted to deny it. It was not impossible. Qingling asked, even the hidden sect can't touch the life faction? Your master has killed 13 lives. Zhou Fan glared at him and scolded him. Isn't my master your grandmaster? How can you address him as your master? Where are your manners? Zhou Fan looked pleased. He hesitated for a moment and said in a low voice, "Don't investigate Li Daogong's matter anymore. My master knows this matter. It involves confidential information. You should know what it means." Han Yu's eyes lit up when he heard this. He asked excitedly, "My master didn't succumb?" Zhou Fan nodded. Han Yu took a deep breath and finally smiled. He knew it. Han Yu shook his head. What will he say even if I see him? Since I know about Master, I should go back and protect Buzhou Divine Mountain. Zhou Fan had no objections. After exchanging a few pleasantries with Han Yu, he asked Qinling to bring him to stay for the time being and leave after some time. After walking out of the Great Dao Tower, Qinling couldn't help but say, "Grandmaster, why don't you cultivate with me? The heavenly Dao is running out now. With your cultivation level, it's very difficult for you to have any opportunities in the heavenly Dao." The patrolling soldiers passing by bowed to Qinling. It was enough to show his status. Han Yu took in everything and smiled. "I know, but I'm not someone who likes to take risks. I'll stay in the heavenly Dao and obediently protect Buzhou Divine Mountain. I don't ask for the sage position, but for longevity and peace." Qinling hesitated. All the words turned into a sigh in his heart. Everyone had their own ambitions. Cultivating was not the only direction. 10,000 years later, Hanju opened his eyes. Seeing that Li Xianao and Dao Comprehension Sword were waiting outside the 100-peak Immortal River, he moved them inside. This is not a good idea. I can't let them wait every time. Hanju thought silently. Then, he raised his hand and waved. He created a clone that was especially used to handle visitors. The clone was him. As long as he did not develop independent thoughts, he would not be rejected by the system. This clone was not too strong. It was only a wisp of Hanju's soul. Hanju made him stay in a corner of the Taoist temple. The strange deity was attracted by the clone and immediately came over to wrap around it. The strange deity shared the same life as Hanju. Now, it also had strength close to a great Dao sage. Of course, it was only close. It had to work hard if it wanted to attain the great Dao. The great Dao realm was not so easy to attain. It was probably its current limit. It would be very difficult for it to improve in the future. This was the rule of the great Dao. Soon, Li Xianao came to visit. Hanju let him in. Without waiting for him to speak, he said, "You don't have to tell me about the development of the hidden sect. I can see it all. You have learned to be a leader." Li Xianao was overjoyed when he heard that. He hurriedly said humbly, "No, no. You're the absolute ruler." Hanju didn't reply. He was no longer interested in the hidden sect. He couldn't be bothered as long as it was on the right track. Li Xianao gritted his teeth and said, "Sect Master, I came here for something." "Tell me." "I want to attain the Dao." Li Xianao immediately felt relieved after saying that. Hanju stared at him and didn't speak immediately. Li Xianao braced himself and said, "Now, there are more and more heavenly Dao sages. It's the same for pseudo-sages and Zenith Heaven Golden Immortals. If my cultivation level is low, many things will be a restriction." He felt danger. Hanju said, "Okay, this will be determined in the future." Li Xianao was overjoyed again and hurriedly thanked him. Hanju waved his hand, and Li Xianao immediately went out. He thought for a moment and told his clone to go to the Fusong tree. If a disciple wanted to go out, he could just go to the Fusong tree and not disturb his cultivation time and time again. The clone left, and so did the strange deity. Looking at the strange deity, Hanju suddenly sighed. After so many years, the strange deity had also gained a certain level of intelligence, but no one could see it. It had always been lonely. Should he let it out? In the past, it was afraid that it would be devoured by the inauspicious evil. Now, there was no need to worry. How many were its match among the inauspicious evil? I'll see after some time. I'll break through first. Then, Hanju closed his eyes and continued cultivating. 8,405 years later, Hanju successfully broke through. As he consolidated his cultivation, he checked his attributes panel. Name, Hanju. Lifespan, 645,051,000,797,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999,999, 1,999,999。Race, primordial fiend celestial, immeasurable emperor. Cultivation, mid-stage great Tao primordial chaos realm, perfect sage. Technique, primordial chaos reincarnation great Tao, heavenly cycle body tempering. Great Tao of life and death, great Tao of karma, great Tao of extreme origin. It had been nearly 400,000 years since his last breakthrough. The great Tao was difficult, but the further one went, the harder it became. Fortunately, Hanju's lifespan had tripled. He didn't cultivate in vain. Hanju was in a good mood after finally breaking through. He set a goal for himself. He would break through to the late-stage Great Tao primordial chaos realm in 1,000,000 years. He would reach the Great Tao Supreme Realm in 10 million years. 10 million years, that's really long, Hanju muttered to himself. He couldn't imagine that the heavenly Tao sages had experienced billions of years and their cultivation levels hadn't changed. Wouldn't that be crazy? Hanju was filled with danger after not breaking through for hundreds of thousands of years. After 500 years, Hanju's cultivation finally stabilized. He first raised all his sword Tao mystical powers to the limit before cultivating the grand unity aspect. This time, he spent 200 years learning 300 fiend celestial Dharma idols, accumulating 849 Dharma idols. His strength soared. Hanju didn't enter the simulation trial immediately. Instead, he took out the heaven-opening axe and the heavenly Tao Spirit Stone. He prepared to upgrade the heaven-opening axe. He wanted to see what level surpassed a chaotic supreme treasure. Soon, the heaven-opening axe fused with the heavenly Tao Spirit Stone, but it took time to level up. Hanju put the heaven-opening axe into the system space and waited for the upgrade to succeed. He took out the Book of Misfortune. Touching the book's cover, Hanju revealed a hint of nostalgia and muttered, "How many years has it been? I've ignored you and made you useless. Today, I'll let you curse until you're satisfied." The Book of Misfortune seemed to sense his joy as a black light flashed across its surface. Hanju started cursing the first life Black Sovereign. 6 stars of hatred. He had to be the first. Even if he didn't die from the curse, he had to make the first life Black Sovereign vigilant so that his attention would not land on him. The cultivation of the Great Tao Sage was cursed by the Great Tao Numinous Treasure, the Book of Misfortune. Even Hanju could feel the surging curse power. It was a little terrifying. Hanju began to gloat. "First life Black Sovereign, how many years of my lifespan can you withstand?"